88.1 FM, Fort Dodge.
The Point, KICB.
You heard it. I'm not going to repeat it. I am here with the Schoon brothers. Can you guys say your names for me?
Yeah.
I'm Mark Schoon.
Yeah, and I'm Mike Schoon.
Great to have you guys here. I'm so excited. I've been hyped for this all week long.
Thanks for having us, man.
No
Yeah, I
problem.
appreciate it.
So I kind of want to talk about your guys' roots a little bit, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So where are you guys originally from?
Let's,
Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead.
well, we were born in California, and then we lived, eventually moved to Georgia. It's a long story kind of, but quick story. We're in Georgia 12 years, and we moved out here 12 years, coincidentally. And then me and Mike went back out to California for our band, and then we just moved back here last February. So now we've been back here for a year.
Yeah. So, well, we're from everywhere. So,
Yeah.
but we claim Iowa as our home state. Though, although we love Georgia and California and stuff, we always say Iowa is our home. So,
Yeah,
specifically Manson.
Yeah,
specifically
the
Manson.
Triangle.
Yeah.
Manson's pretty nice. I like it up there.
Yeah. It's a nice little peaceful town.
Yeah, it's really nice for how small it is, too.
Oh, yeah.
So what originally brought you to Iowa, then?
Well, like I said, we have family that's been in Iowa for a lot of generations and stuff. And then my dad, he was originally from Iowa, and then
Okay.
he went to then he lived a lot of his life in Florida, and then went into the Navy, went back to California for a little bit to see family out there, and then he met my mom, and then that brought us to Iowa. Well, that was the first time we ever came to Iowa, and then that was 2002, so that was a long time ago. And then we went to California. What brought us? Are you talking about like what brought us back recently?
Or not, just
In general? Oh,
What-
yeah.
yeah,
And
so
then
family roots.
So family roots, and then
Yeah.
recently bringing us back is just, it just makes more sense to operate from here.
Just us knowing that we can do a lot of what we were doing out here.
Yeah, the music scene's really great around here.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really love it.
And just with technology is so different, even than 10 years ago, that we're able to do everything from here. And like I said, we still have our stuff going on in California too, with our music and our band and stuff, 22 Salute. But we can just record. We all can record separately, email
Oh, yeah.
tracks back and forth. You don't even have to step foot in studio really, all together or anything. So just technology and social medias and stuff. It's really easy. So just
Yeah.
flying back and forth and doing shows out there and them coming out here is really easy.
Yep. I'll touch base more on California
Yeah.
a little later.
Cool.
So tell me about your musical influences. Who really inspired you, either even family-wise and just like art musicians?
Well, I mean, we grew up around our family listening, when they get together and stuff, they're always playing music, and I'm sure a lot of other families do too, but I was a late bloomer getting into guitar. Mike started off earlier. When we were in Georgia, Mike started learning guitar from one of his friends, and then, but for me, like, I was like 17 when I started learning guitar. So, but I mean, my influences when I got into it, I was like, stuff Michael was listening to, my ear would catch.
Pop punk stuff in the
Yeah.
early days, like early 2000s. And there's Sum 41, Green Day, My Chemical Romance, kind of the introductory punk bands from those days. And
I mean,
The ones that everybody knows.
We were
Yeah.
getting like CDs. Like, it was funny. Our mom actually got us the Black album from Metallica, and then Rage Against the Machine, one of their Battle for Los Angeles, that album. And at first, when you're a kid, you're kind of like, oh, I want like the latest video game thing. And our mom got us those. At first, we didn't see the value in it as much, but we were listening to it a lot, both those albums. So we kind of had a good wide range of mix. And then like country music, we grew up hearing a lot from our family.
And our dad was in when we lived in Georgia as we were growing up as kids and young teenagers and stuff. Our dad was in a southern rock country band, and with him doing that kind of made it normal to be in bands and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it was never something we thought we were doing like it was anything different. It just kind of was natural to do that.
You didn't see yourself doing anything else.
Well, at first Mark and I were really into football, like we really were.
Yeah.
But as soon as we moved to Iowa, I just started getting into music a lot more. And
It's big in Georgia, football is.
Oh, yeah.
So we were down there,
all
that
about,
was
all about football, man.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
But yeah, eventually Mike, like I was saying earlier, Mike, he got into guitar though while we were still in Georgia, right before we moved. And then I eventually got into it, and then because family was kind of like, oh, Mark, you should try learning, because a bunch of our other family, they all learned
Yeah,
guitar. So I was like, okay, I'll try it.
There's been like 4 generations of guitar players and singers in our family, so
Wow.
like it just kind of seemed like natural.
Yeah.
I'm glad I got nudged into it, a little bit, and I was practicing for a little bit, and I fell out of it because I started going to college, and then I saw Mike's band, his high school band, and I was just like, when I saw them playing live, I'm like, man, I thought it was so cool, and I'm like, I want to do that, and so I got back into playing again because I just thought it looked really fun, and that got me back into playing again. So I kind of fell out of it for a few years after I started learning.
But back to you said influences, like I said, just early 2000s punk pop and pop punk. And then metal, new metals. We like Linkin Park a lot. Creed, that was late '90s rock. So that was kind of the introductory stuff. And then as we went along,
Metallica was a big early influence.
Yeah, so
big time.
That makes sense.
And I think a lot of bands, Metallica is definitely an introductory influence. So and then it just grows from there. You start getting into other things. And but yeah, that would be kind of the roots. And then I got into classic rock for a while, and then I got into like heavy death metal. Although we never played that, I did appreciate the instruments and the musicianship of that.
It's kind of like we went from Metallica, Metallica or Green Day, Metallica, Ozzy, Guns N' Roses started getting the metalcore started, blowing up, and then you got into
Kill Switch,
and
All That Remains,
and then
Devil Wears Prada, and then like Asking Alexandria. We really liked them a lot at the time. And then and then it branched off from everywhere. But we've always been big fans of like Beatles, Queen, the classic rock stuff. That's always been awesome. Even some Led Zeppelin and
Elvis,
like Mark said, Elvis, and then like even Ozzy and like just kind of that stuff.
All over the rock spectrum.
Yeah, everywhere. I
and country too. People wouldn't think, but we grew up hearing a lot of country stuff. Like I was telling you earlier, before we started this, like. Hank Williams Jr. and George Strait, like them, and Dwight Yoakam and Alan Jackson and stuff.
And then like growing up, we'd take trips to Florida to my grandparents, and we'd listen to like all kinds of '90s country. Like so, '90s country has a big place in our hearts. So, because me doing my country stuff now, that's living in Georgia, living in Iowa, country's pretty big. You know that. I mean, we always love
here even. Especially.
And we love our. I mean, obviously our first endeavors were metal and rock, which still are, but now I'm doing some country stuff, and also in the Schoon Brothers acoustic show. It's just kind of, it's natural because like we heard that growing up our whole lives, and we love Alan Jackson, George Strait, like Mark was saying, and then all that other '90s stuff, and then earlier too. So
seeing you guys live, I really did appreciate how quickly you could transition from like one country song back to an alternative rock song.
And then like the alternative stuff too. We grew up like, I think my first album that I actually got was a band album was Matchbox 20. They're Yourself or Someone Like You that had Push on it and 3 AM.
All those post, what's it called, post grunge or post some '90s?
Late grunge.
Dude, I even had Chumbawamba, like their album. They're when they first came out, and I was like 12.
Yeah.
But I thought
they did that song, I Get Knocked Down, I Get Up Again. Yeah. Anywhere from '95 to 2000, that whole like alternative rock era is like the '90s radio. We're big fans of that too, and you can also obviously hear that in the Schoon Brothers acoustic show because to me that was just some of the best written music, and you can do it all with just acoustic guitar. I mean, there's obviously in the recordings everything else, but like they're so easy to break down to acoustic and just good vocals, good songwriting, and late '90s alternative rock has a huge place in my heart. So.
And going back a little bit to country, it really is impressive watching you guys switch back and forth. And then like a lot of other bands I see, they only carry like one country song in their
itinerary.
Sets.
And we're kind of all over. It's kind of. I mean,
it's like to each their own. But it's it's like Mike was saying earlier. It's like we grew up around it stuff, and we appreciate it. And I listen to it. I mean, I listen to it a good bit still. And,
Mark, we both love country, but Mark literally, like, every time I get in his car, it's always the only thing on in the radio. So Mark actually should be do some country solo stuff too.
But yeah, it's funny. Mike's doing the country band, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. But I mean, I help out here and there at times. But
he's in the band. He's in the Michael Wayne Schoon band. So
I help out guitar here and there. But Yeah, I enjoy when we do a country stuff. I enjoy singing it. It's fun.
And I hope we do it well, like you said, because like sometimes it is pretty random. Like we'll go from like a we'll go from like a 2000s rock alternative song with acoustic, then we'll do 90s country, and then all of a sudden we'll go to 1985 pop song. So it's like we're kind of all over the place, but we hope we like mesh it in all well together where it doesn't
Yeah, it
strike
doesn't
people
feel
weird.
off because there's always a flow.
Yeah,
Good.
and we were saying too earlier is like our parents, like we grew up, my dad and his brother, they were real close, and they're full brothers, and we'd go over and we'd be hanging out with our cousins, and my dad and my uncle, they'd be hanging out, in their garage or whatever. So when you're around family, they're listening to music, and we just grew up hearing a lot of different artists, I guess, playing, and our dad had a band and a country rock band, like I think Mike said that earlier too.
Yeah.
But yeah, just grew up around a lot of just influences that we didn't even know, like subconsciously,
Well,
So
the only music that I did not grow up around, well, I did kind of guess late 90s. No, I take that back. Late 90s to early 2000s was EDM. And I'm actually recently in the last 2 years, I've started getting into more of that. I used to criticize it a lot, but and now I appreciate the creation of it, meaning there's really cool sounds that EDM can have and cool beats and it's really fun time.
There's a lot of opportunities for cross genres too.
God, and isn't that what's happening anymore? Is everything is just, and I'm not trying to say everything is just stained with each other, but there is a time and place for the purity of one genre, and I appreciate, we all love that and appreciate it, but
you can't remix Johnny Cash.
No, exactly. I mean, I'm sure someone's tried EDM Johnny Cash.
But nah, that would ruin it.
But
right, they have like a quick little clip of Johnny Cash before a breakdown, like it starts speeding up.
But it's but anymore, like it's not weird to do these mashups and these different, and you can do anything. Like that's why, doing. I'm sure when I first started doing country, the stuff I'm doing, like especially the Michael Wynn show and stuff, I'm sure there still are people that are like, why are you doing that? That's weird that you guys were doing metal and rock so long, and then we're still doing it, and then the Schoon brothers, and I'm just kind of all over the place, but I enjoy it because I just love music in general. So I was like, why not? Why can't I do it? Why can't I just play what I like and do what I want to do and not have to worry about sticking to one thing or trying to be like, oh, you're not true country or you're not really rock or metal, whatever. It's like,
Well, I think us doing the acoustic, the acoustic band we're doing now, that kind of helped open up the avenue for for us to be like, hey, we can do others. I mean, obviously we can play anything.
Yeah.
Because we're doing these shows, we got to cover 4 hours. Usually we play. So we're like, let's do 90s stuff. Let's do country. Let's do, early 2000s rock stuff. Let's do some rock stuff from.
And I think that makes the transition a lot easier too.
Yeah.
I think the 90s alternative is really, and that's why we start the show off with a lot of it, our 4-hour Schoon Brothers show, because it's such a good middle ground for everything else. Because if you start with 90s alternative, you got the acoustic, you got the songwriting. It's not too heavy, it's not too modern, but it's not too old, and it kind of just that sweet spot we like to hit a lot. And then it just kind of opens up every other route in the show. So yeah, that's I think in everyone at this age, I guess older crowd or our younger crowd, they all can kind of get the 90s stuff that we start with, and then later on we can start branching off into the everything else. So
Yep. So how far have you guys been traveling now? Are you based in Manson then?
Yeah. We live in Manson. We drive. I mean, we started when we first came out here. We were going over to like Muscatine. That's like 4 hours.
are you talking about like where we play right now?
Yeah, in Iowa specifically.
In Iowa, yeah, we like go. I'd say two hour.
The average right now
radius.
is probably like 2 hours usually.
Yeah, like within 2 hours. But sometimes we'll go a little further. Like we're booking a show in what's it called? Is it Fort Madison? Is that it?
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. I got my calendars. All the dates are in names.
Well, that's like south, right? Near.
Yeah, that's like south of Muscatine, I think. Yeah, and
or no. Oh.
And we'll go east and stuff. But like, there's so many places to play within a 2-hour radius or however, what's that, 120 mile radius or whatever that we're fine just. For now, I mean that's because this is.
Well, like Muscatine's way on the east. Madison's like down like the southern, near the southern.
Fort
border.
Madison, yeah. So, but anyways, yeah, we travel quite a bit, but like I said, we obviously the closer shows are always more comfortable, but it's still fun going out and we actually did the Schoon Brothers show out in California where everything's just all smushed down in there. So we'd play that once a month, actually, before we moved here. But yeah, just around the area and a little further.
Yeah. Do you see a lot of the same familiar faces when you travel within that, like 120 miles?
Yeah. There's people that
If it's the same place, like people around this area, one time we had a few friends go out to Clear Lake, like we were playing up there, and they're from like around here, and they came out and saw us up there, which was really cool.
We got some really cool people that we just met in the last year that follow us to a lot of shows, like couples. Like I know there's a couple of these older couples that they just come to almost every show, and they're just the coolest people.
That's usually like if it's like a half-hour radius, like if we're driving like an hour and a half, usually it's harder.
Yeah, especially for some of the older people, I'm
like
sure.
Des Moines or something. But when we play like in the Des Moines area, though, we still got friends around those areas that will come out, So, but yeah, it's.
When you play at a new place, though, you're like, okay, none of these people know us. We got to, kind of build our rep here in a way.
Yep.
And then if you get more shows there, the more you go back, all of a sudden the crowd starts being like, oh, I know these guys, and then you start making friends that way,
Yeah, so all of a sudden everybody's like, these guys are awesome, going again.
And then if you get an in-between show, or you're between where you're
start growing out.
Your hometown and where they're at, they might come out from where they're at, so it works out.
Yep. So...
Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun gig.
So, I've noticed you guys perform like 3 shows back to back, at least, right?
Usually I think we've done 4, but 3 is like the normal big weekends.
Yeah, so you're
3 to 2, yeah.
Are you spending the rest of the week recovering?
Vocally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Friday and Saturdays, usually we have every Friday, Saturday booked every week. That's kind of, we're super consistent on that. It's very rare that we have a Friday or Saturday off, but the Friday, Saturday, Sundays, or the Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, or the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the 3-week shows, those can daunt on your vocals because, we're playing 4-hour shows, 5 in some places, and sometimes, 2, like we did at the winery the other day, and but it's it is tiring when you're staying up late every night.
Yeah.
And
kind of turns you into a night owl.
You're
not gonna
living
lie.
the rock star
lifestyle. We don't really have. I mean, we got our buddy Colton, but like we don't have like roadies. So like, and none of the guys do. All of us, musicians that are on this circuit or whatever, we all haul our equipment and set it up and tear it down. And when you're having a few drinks and then you're talking with people afterwards and you load up, it's cold out, and then you drive 2 hours home or whatever you do, it gets daunting on you.
Yeah, you're there till close basically, and then it's 2 o'clock, and then you're like, okay, now we gotta get out of here.
We get to the place, not to mention the drive, but we arrive an hour and a half to set up. So it's a lot of hours, and the playing, and then the tearing down, and then the driving, and then going to bed at 4 a.m., and then getting up the next day and having to get everything together before you head out again for the next thing. It's fun doing. I'm not complaining. I love our job, but it's not as easy as someone might think. But again, it's not. I'd rather do that than be
9 to 5
busting my tail. Yeah, 9 to 5.
But yeah, I mean, you have days where you play a show, and like Mike's saying, we're out late, and then you get home and you get to bed, and as soon as you wake up, you're like, okay, we only got like a few hours, and we got to leave again.
Yeah.
So it's like wake up.
You're waking up,
clean up, move equipment again.
You're not even recovered from the night before.
Yeah, you're waking up at 1, like, oh, your voice is a little sore, and you're like, dude, we got to leave at 4 because we have 2 hours drive today. And then you're like,
I just got to bed.
Got to shower, got to get everything together, move the, because we always take some of the stuff out of our car, unload, so it's not in freezing in the car or something. Then bring it. It's just, it is more than people would think, and then sound checks and everything. But like I said, I'm not complaining because I love it. So.
Yeah, you get to bed at 4 or 5 a.m. and you're like, okay, how tired am I? You wake up, you're like, you can only sleep so long because you got to get ready,
You got that headache from the night before too, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
And your sleep schedule's definitely off. Like mine's all jacked up. So.
Well, I was saying earlier, you kind of turn into at least for me, it's kind of turned me into a night owl a little bit, where I'm even days I'm actually off, like I'll be up late. Sometimes I'll be up till like 2 in the morning because
that's what you're used to.
Yeah, I get used to being up late, and it's it's a different little schedule here at times, but it's it's what we do and we enjoy it.
So you said vocally recovering, and that was actually where the other part of my question was going to go. So how is that on your voice? 3 shows back to back to back.
But yeah, so 3 4-hour show, or actually it was 2 4-hour shows and then 1 2-hour show, no break, which is not bad either. I've gotten better at it. When we first started doing it, like I'd be a little more raspier on the Monday. I'd be like, hardly be able to talk. Not I could talk, but it would be raspy talking. But now I'm getting pretty used to my vocals getting pretty tough and callous and strong. So it doesn't really affect me too bad. It's actually, to be honest with you, we're actually in the studio tonight in Webster City. We're recording for 22 Salute, and we're doing vocals tonight. So actually, it was a concern this last Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I was hoping I wasn't going to be just like ripped up and having to heal really fast. But I was pretty good after Sunday, and I've been healing for the last since Sunday, and I'm ready to sing again. So
Well, I've realized more and more, singing, and I've looked up stuff online about, because I had one week where I was trying to just not talk before the weekend, the following weekend, because that past weekend when I was trying to sing,
that was scary.
when I was singing, it was like my voice was cracking and I wasn't able to hit stuff that I usually could.
And this never happens.
And it never happens to me.
So I was scared. I'm like, oh man, Mark's about to lose his voice.
No, I was a little worried. I was like, I hope I didn't injure something. And then I was looking up stuff online, and then I was just resting it basically. And then, you'd be surprised how much water comes into play. Drinking water, just water. Like if you keep yourself hydrated really well, like you can sing a lot better. Like drinking, like having drinks here and there, it dehydrates your vocal cords. Even if you think you're singing better when you drink, it's still dehydrating them, and it's still not as efficient as drinking just water and keeping them hydrated.
Yeah.
It's a super simple advice, but it's true. And so I've noticed that at shows. I'm like, if I'm drinking a lot more water, like I feel so much better singing, even if I had a show the day before. So I've really taken that as a strict rule on myself now, is just drink water, drink more water.
That's great. And that kind of advice transfers to everything in life. Drink more water. But if you're a singer and you have a heavy schedule,
stay hydrated, man.
Water.
Stay hydrated.
There's other remedies too, like chamomile tea and like just.
Oh yeah, there's like
other things, lozenges, I guess. And stuff
that time I was just referring to where I thought I might have hurt something. I was drinking like hot lemon water with honey in it. I heard that can help.
Yeah.
But other than that, though, like I said, just water in general is really good.
Yeah, but now that we do it so much, it's like we're getting beat. Our vocals are getting used to the schedule of doing it.
So and you sing? Is it fry? Or is it like singing with gruff? I don't know.
Yeah,
you never stop.
The raspiness.
Yeah,
The raspiness.
I did it because I'm not gonna get into details, but I had a vocal problem back in quite a long while ago, and it was a bad thing going on with my vocals, and the only way I could hit highs was to grit it. It's almost like distorting it to get to that, so doesn't sound like it's flat or something. And then it just kind of became my style after all these years. So kind of not intentional, the grit, but now it's there, and I guess you could call it fry and stuff like that. But I just, and I've gotten better at trying to just be more pretty singing, but it's but I like to add that grit when it calls for it,
Oh yeah.
But so it just kind of happened by chance,
I was just wondering if that tore up your vocals anymore.
No, it doesn't. Actually, I think my vocal cords are conditioned to just take that, and I do it properly now.
Yeah.
You don't want to use your throat. You want to use your diaphragm in a sense more, while using a little of your throat. But there's a way not to do it that you can definitely rip yourself up.
Mm-hmm.
So
The more and more you sing too, you get used to just like if anything, like when you're working out or in your muscles or whatever, your vocal cords are like a muscle where you get used to how to work it the right way so you don't hurt it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that, and the more you use it, the more you get the feel of, okay, I can sing this way and my vocals are fine. If I try singing this way, I can feel a little strain where I'm like, okay, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So you just learn where your limits are,
So that's great. So I think, well, you both mentioned that you're also doing other projects, other bands. I know you mentioned the California one.
22 Salute.
22 Salute, and then
Most recently, the Michael Wayne Schoon, the solo country thing, which Mark, it's kind of my solo project, but I'm definitely including Mark as much as I can in it. So, yeah.
Yeah, like I'm willing to help on guitar and stuff on it, and when Mike needs it.
And for live situations. And
for live.
We still haven't done the first Michael Wayne Schoen show, but that's going to change this year. So
Okay, so you haven't done any gigs with that one
with
just
that
yet.
project just yet, but I'll take that back.
Well, we do-
we play the Schoon Brothers. We do play two of my originals during it, so I guess you could tactically say that we do, but we haven't done a show advertised
kinda
yet as
hear-
Michael Wayne Show. And it's just been Schoon
Well, it's
Brothers.
here and there. We have certain shows where, we have friends that know, our people from around the local area that know Mike's music, and they'll say, "Oh, play, your original," and then we'll do it. But if we're out far, like 2 hours away or something,
And people don't know us, then we might, but sometimes we just stick to the covers because that's what they know, so they get to know us better, and then you interject those. But yeah, once I do the actual Michael Wayne show, it'll be more originals and also covers, but different covers than we do in the Schoon Brothers.
Nice. Are you recording for that then? Your originals?
For 22 Slow or the country thing?
For the country?
Yeah,
one.
well, I have one song called Life
Right
is
now.
Simple. That came out last year, and then a music video along with it, which is a pretty cool video. Shout out to Seven Wonders Studio on that, and Bradbury for recording it. But we're going to record another Michael Wayne Schoen song this year. And then hopefully make a video for it as well. And we will make a video for it. And then if I can get to a third one, I will. But yeah, we do originals for that as well. And 22 Salute, obviously we record for that. So
yeah. So it's like Mike's 3 projects. I'm on 2. So
And the
I'm just with our actual band, 22 Salute, our hard rock metal band, and then our acoustic show we do.
and then my podcast, I haven't had an episode in a long time. The Rock Oath. We used to do that we did that in California for a while, and that was really fun. And I need to get that going again. So
Let's see. So, do you want to talk about 22 Salute?
yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, we can. I mean, we're a 4-piece band. We used to be a 3-piece. We started out in late 2010, and we were a 3-piece band for a bit, and then over time, eventually, we're like, we want to have 2 guitars, have a fuller sound live, and be able to incorporate other stuff while we're playing live, so you have extra stuff going on. Because when you go like playing rhythm chords and stuff, it's like, yeah, you can get that. There's punk bands that do it or alternative bands, but we wanted to be able to include lead stuff. We want to include lead stuff in there, like along with rhythm, and it just sounds so much better. You can add more intricacies in your songs.
Yeah.
And now we're using like backtracks here and there, not a lot, not too much, because we want to be able to replicate what we do live and from the recording.
Yeah.
So
And in case anyone doesn't know, 22 Salute did start off in Iowa. It was, like Mark said, late 2010. Our drummer, we were with drummer Sam Lenz for a while from Humble, and that was the main start and lineup. And then we moved 2014, moved to California specifically for 22 Salute, and we had multiple drummers out there, and they're still all friends of ours. And but now we're with Jay, who is Raul Padilla, but his name's Jay.
This is his nickname,
and
Jay, yeah.
Tyler Hacker on bass. And yeah, man, we just start off with rock metal and still doing it and recording it and just getting bigger and recording more videos and everything else.
So, do you do any shows over that way then?
Yeah,
Or
we
how-
we since we moved back we moved back a year ago, like in February. So since we've been back, we went to California to play at the Whiskey A Go Go in Hollywood. That was last June, end of June last year, and then they came out this October. They came out to play for
the Monster Ball
for the Monster
show.
Ball here in town, and then we're going out there next month for promotion and photo shoot. And then in May, we're going out there for a show in Walnut, California.
Oh, wow.
yeah. So the time we were out there, we made our name known pretty well in the IE, the Inland Empire they call it, which is east of LA County. And so there's a lot of bands around there. They know who we are, and we've made a really good connection out there. And then LA is like where we were at specifically. We were near the 15 interstate, so it takes about 45 to an hour to get into actual LA.
But we played there a lot.
But yeah, we played out there a good bit. Like Viper Room also, we played over at even in Orange County, like Chain Reaction,
Stages,
House of Blues,
which was
Stages, which was in Santa Ana.
What was that called for a while before that?
I forget, but
Yeah.
no, it was we just kept playing. When we did shows, we were releasing songs here and there, and just making a name for ourselves. And then back to earlier what we were talking about, we just decided. We had an idea 2023 that summer. We were out here visiting, and we played at Celebration, and we were just like, well, Mike had the idea. He brought it up first. He's like, dude, what if we came back out here and then just
Operate from here.
yeah, and then just we can go out to California anytime.
Yeah,
And
make
so
it, and it's in financially it was very smart too.
Yeah, California's pretty expensive.
yeah, it's like we could
It's
be
ridiculous.
we
Especially
could
the Hollywood area.
yeah. Well, even like I was saying, we were east of LA, and we are like 2-bedroom apartment. Man, is like $2,600 for renting. Just I mean, there were certain things in it covered, but it's still like that's really expensive.
Yeah, it's you got.
That's not even like
And
bougie living.
we could afford it. It's just that when you're running these different musical operations, you need money to fund them.
Yeah.
Extra money to fund them, unless you're super big, and then obviously you're a millionaire and you can do that. But
we were just like, why
why suffer and
be
we
more strapped out there?
and we're like, ironically, we'll probably be able to get more done moving back to Iowa and operating from here. So it made sense, and it still does a year later. So we're glad we did that. And but
And I still, well, when Mike came up with the idea of us coming back here, I had to think about it for a little bit. I mean, it sounded like, I was like, that sounds like a, interesting idea. But I'm very like, I don't just jump the gun right away. I'm kind of like, okay, a little more conservative on it, where I'm like, okay, I got to think about this, because how is that going to impact us, being out there versus out here? Obviously, I want to be around family and friends, but just the location-wise. But then more I thought about, what, I think that would be smart for us to be back out here, just because I want to be around my family and friends again, and I want to, be able to have more financially less burden. And so I'm like, it makes more sense.
yeah, and it's getting better too. Meaning, when we first got back to Iowa, there's a lot of figuring out things, rearranging, trying to figure out, the income situation, figure out living situation, figure out what we're gonna do, how we're gonna get back to California, what's the process, And as time's going on, it's getting more clear of what we have to do and stuff. So we'll be we'll be going out there more often than we did last year, and it'll be we're figuring it all out,
Yeah,
So.
it's a process.
Yeah.
Well, and with our acoustic show too, like we were kind of blind on. I mean, I don't know, you say flying blind on it. Like we weren't sure what was going to happen. We wanted to do it, but we were just confident in ourselves. Like, we'll come out here and try it out and see how it goes. I think we think we can do pretty good with it, and it's been really working
Very
out.
nice. People enjoy it, and there's a lot of other guys out there doing the same thing, and it gives us confidence, saying like, oh yeah, you can do that. You can make a decent living doing that if you're consistent, play shows every weekend, and we've been doing that, and it's been awesome because and I always say, like, all of our projects, as we've been talking about, they all lead to the same. All rivers lead to the same lake. All these different things boost the other one up. So if people hear about this, they all help each other out no matter what we do. So it's just under the big umbrella of Mark and I's music, whatever you want to call it.
There is a lot of support amongst other musicians.
Oh yeah,
I've seen.
absolutely.
Yeah.
The music scene here is really, I think it's surprised a lot of people, even from, people far out, like other places we play at.
They always say,
Man, the
well-
music scene around Fort Dodge is just like crazy. Like all the artists there are.
We hear about that from other, like, far away from here. People talk about how Fort Dodge produces all these different musicians, and even Manson too. It's crazy. It's just something in the water around here. I don't know.
And they're quite willing to help, too.
Yeah.
I've noticed. I've heard.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
There's
they,
a couple of high school bands out there that are getting a lot of support from even like Brutal Republic. And,
Yeah. Yep. Jeremy and his band, they're awesome. He's been very supportive of different local acts, and us included. So.
Yeah, we've known him since back before we moved out to California. So
I know Jeremy since like 05.
Yeah. Well, you were giving guitar lessons, and he was also at Reman's. So.
Yeah. I gave guitar lessons while at the same music store. So. But yeah, it's the whole acoustic, and also bands in general, not just acoustic bands, but actual rock bands like Section 7 and bands like that.
Yeah.
They're all killing it too. So it's just a lot of music everywhere. You can't find music not happening in Fort Dodge on a Friday or Saturday. Like if anyone from around the area is like, hey, is there going to be music? What town you go to hear music on a weekend? It's Fort Dodge.
It's
'cause
almost
gonna be
every day
everywhere.
of the week.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Mhm.
It's crazy.
something going somewhere.
Yeah.
It's just constant. It's hard to keep up with if I really want to keep investing.
You're right. You're right. It is.
Yeah, and it
But
definitely
nice.
blew up, and it's definitely blown up a lot more too. Like since like while we were out there.
2000 teens. It was.
Yeah,
It
and
was.
when we came back, it's just like it's really blown
It's
up,
blown up a lot, and it's fun.
which is great because it gives people something. It's more entertainment when people
Yep.
go out. It's not just strictly, oh, I'm just going to the bar and see what's going on.
And sometimes you definitely need more entertainment.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it got the area around here. It's got some stuff, but
Yeah, in California, like the bars Mark and I will go to, like on a night off or something, on a weekend night off or something, or even weekday, it's all club music and DJ, which is fine. I like that stuff too. But like the live music is definitely thriving in the Midwest. I think a lot
Oh, yeah.
more.
And
Yeah.
I even had somebody actually came in like during homecoming week, and I talked to him a little bit. He's just a DJ.
Yeah.
Like he was, a student here at one point, and he said that he's from Boston, and he doesn't even they don't have a live scene like around here.
Oh, really? Wow. I believe it. Something about the Midwest, man. People.
Yep. We're always looking for something to do.
Live music and drinking, that's for sure.
Yeah. So, well, we're about to close up here. Do you have any advice for any starting musicians?
Yeah, I would say dive all in, and don't. It's gonna be hard, and it's gonna and you're gonna have like years of falling back, and maybe not, maybe you won't, but you're gonna have to overcome that and learn. And also, I would say that new musicians is to don't. Although we do have a few projects now over time, don't. And I've seen it a lot with other people, but don't do a project and all of a sudden half a year it's not going the way you envisioned it, and then you just jump to the next project. Oh, then that half year with that next. I've seen people jump around so much. It's like you need to invest in a project you believe in for even years, and it will come around. If you keep jumping ship every few months, you're never going to land something solid. And that's something I would like.
As long as you got something working, it's picking up steam. Like, don't quit on it. Keep pushing it, man. It'll work out.
It'll iron out. Yeah, don't.
It's like patience is number one, and consistency, and don't give up on it because we've had shows. I mean, man, back when we were starting out, we had shows we played for like nobody, man. We drive all the way to Des Moines to do shows, and there was like there's just a bartender there.
Those sucked.
And like the band, like some of the bands that would play before us, they leave as soon as they were done, and you're just like, oh my gosh, man, this is so disheartening. And you're just like, you got to learn how to get through that stuff and just, mentally get
grind,
through it.
grind.
Just know in the long run, like, be patient with things, even when you're starting out learning music, like, even playing guitar. It's like, it's not fun. Your fingers, it doesn't feel good on your fingers when you're playing. You're like, oh, man, I can't even play a chord. Your fingers feel more stiff. You're just like, I don't know if I can do this. It's like, no, you can. Just be patient with it. That's the number one thing is patience.
Yeah, just like I said, just know if you're gonna do it. Jump all in. Don't.
And really know you're willing to, I'm gonna get through it mentally.
Yeah.
You got to be mentally tough too at times.
Like 22 Salute. Like I know we've been doing it so long, but it's like it's yeah. I mean, we're not like national or I mean, I guess we could, California and others. Some of the states people know us, but we're not super famous or nothing. But we do have a good following. We do have a lot of stuff we put out with 22 Salute, and that's since 2000. We'll say early 11, late 10 or 11. That's almost 15 years, and we're still doing it. We still love it, and you can always, once you get something established, then you can jump on other things, but don't abandon ship right away. I've seen that happen a lot, and I think that doesn't help. So that's some advice.
It's definitely work. It's definitely, you got to put in work for it, because it's like, I read one time, like Slash, anyone knows Slash is, Guns N' Roses, he even says, like, even guitar playing, he's like, or being a musician, he's like, it's kind of no man's land. Like, no one's telling you, like, you don't get a course on this is what you do. It's like, you got to, if you're going to be original and do what you want to do, you got to kind of figure it out yourself. And you gotta, just trial and error, man.
Yeah. Also, take advice and reference from other groups and stuff, but also try to have your own angle at it, so you have some uniqueness. And I think a lot of people do, but that's just something to do, to make sure that you stand out a little bit and see what works. And yeah, I don't know, just trial and error. Working really hard.
Make sure you enjoy doing it, and even if you get, like I was saying, patience. Even if you get disheartened here and there, don't quit on it. If you got something and you do enjoy it, and you enjoy seeing other people playing, you're like, that's really cool. Then if you're trying to learn, don't be like, this isn't for me, I'm not picking it up. It's like, yes, you will. There's great guitar players that they didn't learn real fast.
Practice.
Yeah.
Nonstop.
And take the risks.
Yep.
So is there anything else you would both like to add?
Yeah.
We're playing Amigos
We're playing Amigos
Saturday.
Saturday night, 8 o'clock in Amigos. Y'all come
8 to
out.
12.
We're going to be playing 4 hours of your favorite hits and alternative and country and having a great time.
And then you're on social media too.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I guess that's important.
Yeah, you can look us up, 22 Salute, our original band. We're
Yep.
Schoon Brothers.
Show
Acoustic
Brothers.
Show. We're on Facebook and Instagram.
YouTube, you can find us on Spotify, anywhere, 22 Salute or anywhere. The Michael Wayne Show, I do have a song and video up too. You can look that up. But yeah, just we're all over the internet. I got my TikTok too, and just you'll find us.
We're on Spotify too, by the way.
I said that.
22
I said
Salute.
that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I didn't hear it.
Oh, sorry.
All right. Is there a song that you want me to put on?
Oh, really? Cool.
Just pick out this random one.
Let's do. I'll just look at here what we got here on the list. This list you have right here in front of us.
The stage.
The stage.
That's a good one.
Where?
Go down a little ways. Avenged
Oh,
Sevenfold.
yeah, let's do
That's
that.
a great one.
Avenged Sevenfold.
That's a great one.
The stage. That'd be sick.
A few names down.
4 down from
Okay,
there.
4 down.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
All right, and there we go. So, thank you guys very much.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely,
This
man, you're
was super
welcome.
This
fun.
has been a great experience.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, and thanks for anyone that's listening, man. Appreciate it.
If you don't know Avenged Sevenfold, check the song out. It's pretty good. And
Sick.
All right, and then now back to the music.